Switch Hit, the game-changing, dexterous menace who can throw you for a loop. As of this video's release, Switch Hit is the most recent style to enter the game, which was why I saved it for last in terms of mythic styles. I wanted to be sure it had time to settle and that I could actually get a feel for it before releasing a guide. Anyway, Switch Hit could almost be classified as its own kind of fighter. It's a literal switch hitter, capable of closing distance or keeping it as it chooses. The reason it's called this is because its gimmick is currently completely unique. The user is always able to determine which hand fires out for a punch. As you might know by now, punch direction is very key in this game, considering that dodging under a punch at the right time gives you a perfect dodge and therefore a guaranteed hit. However, with Switch Hit, by changing the direction you walk, you can actively change which hand is the lead hand, and therefore which hand fires that punch. As long as you're moving to the right, your right hand will throw first, and walking left makes you attack from your left. As such, this instantly gives you an edge against opponents who would rather perfect dodge than risk attacking first. You can quickly throw them off by changing the direction you're moving. That's not all though. These punches are all actually different from one another. While moving to the left, your main punch will be decently quick, while your M2, which comes from the other hand, fires extremely quick. This heavy punch is about the same speed as the shotgun prodigy swing, and therefore leaves some healable health behind for the opponent to recover if you don't take care of it fast enough. However, that makes this punch really great for a surprise attack in the middle of an interaction, since it can be so tricky to react to. While moving to your right though, everything is the opposite. Both your normal swing and heavy swing are stronger, dealing more block damage and base damage, but are slower than the other side and can be seen coming with a bit more ease. Though the difference in the light swing speed might be hard to see, I can guarantee you that it's there. The heavy you have while moving right also deals full anti-heal, so it's a strong punishing move that can be used like any other heavy. To keep it as simple as possible, moving right makes you slower but stronger, while left makes you faster but weaker. Because Switch Hit changes hands involuntarily depending on where you move, this can give you a very natural line of mix-up in-game that you might hardly have to even think about. An important note though is that the hand prepared to punch will stick out more from your body than the other, so people can still see that and dodge you if you don't think to change hands in time. As another quick tip, if you manage to get a dodge yourself, always remember to move slightly to the right if you dodged left. This will, of course, give you your stronger heavy and will give you the best possible punish. In terms of the base stats of your punches, everything is pretty average. Good damage, chip damage, and anti-heal that could be better, but isn't among the worst. Your dashes, however, are miserable, having the same cooldown as our good old friend Bullet. This will make weaving through feints very hard for you, so try to keep distance if you can sense one coming since your range is good enough to do so. If you're having a tough time against a quick dasher and your switch hitting isn't working, a good fallback option is to do what I've come to know as crab walking. This being simply tapping your left and right movement keys to constantly shift your legs as you approach an opponent or as they approach you. This quick little maneuver can make an opponent quickly confused on where to dodge and give you the first hit, so long as you're not so focused on crab walking that they just hit you anyway. Now though, I think it's time to save some space for Switch Hit's ability, that being static. This ability is also a very interesting game changer that you can use in more than one way. First of all, this ability is charged by your opponent dashing. About, I think, 12 to 15 dashes should do it. Once it's ready to go, you have two different ways you can choose to activate it. Your first option is if you use it in a neutral state while you aren't being attacked and nothing is really happening to you. If you do, it will overlay the screen with a slight static effect and instantly affect the opponent by inverting their movement inputs. This means that if they try to move left, they'll go right, their forward is backward, and their light swing input will change to being their heavy input. Same goes for all the other inputs. It swaps. In order to make this effect go away, they'll have to deal damage directly to you. Since styles all do varying levels of damage, this will take more for some and less for others. Generally, after you take a few strings to your body though, they'll go back to normal and the effect will be gone. This effect has the potential for some great comeback potential if you can throw an opponent off balance enough, but if I'm being honest, a higher skilled player with more game experience will generally counter this with not too many issues. To counter those players though, that's where static's second use comes in, during your opponent's perfect dodge. If an opponent successfully perfect dodges while your static is ready, trigger it just before they hit you to stun them instead. This will guarantee you an attack for free if you properly stun them, though it's generally a good idea to open with a light string to put yourself in an advantage state. On top of this, this move also cancels ults if they're thrown during their perfect dodge, so you can keep that in mind if a situation looks dire. This is generally an amazing way to use static and should honestly be your primary usage for it, unless you want to randomly throw your opponent off mid-game with an input swap. Because of this move and everything else in its kit, Switch Hit excels at throwing off the normal loop of a match's gameplay. Think you know which way to dodge? Not anymore. Did you still manage to perfect dodge anyway? Hold this L, actually. I did it instead, if you think about it. Apparently, the PD stopping use for static was also supposed to combo into an ult for free, but I haven't been able to do that recently while getting footage for this. Maybe it's still possible and I'm messing it up? I don't know. I'm not perfect. Try it for yourself and let me know. If you want your ability back quickly to guarantee yourself more strings of attack, try feinting while consistently switching hands to keep baiting dodges and restoring static. You'll generally fare better against speedsters, like Kronos or Freedom, since they're so dash-oriented. Fighting slower, tankier styles like Iron Fist or Turtle, however, could prove way harder for you, so just watch out. If you do happen to find one of them, focus on keeping your hands constantly moving, so they can never easily guess which way to move for a free hit. If you ever do get your static during slow fights like that, definitely save it for a perfect dodge halt. It could very well save your life. Because of Switch Hit's natural skills, its entire gimmick is based around completely disrupting the normal flow of gameplay. Considering it can always change its punch direction, give them varying levels of power, and cancel one of the best skills in the game that everyone has, it's no question that any Switch Hit player is going to make you think on your toes. If you want to get into Switch Hit yourself, always pay attention to where you're going to punch next and just how hard you want to hit. Use the Speedy Heavy as a mix-up tool, and also be sure to feint to bait dashes that will charge static for you. Considering that static can cancel any kind of punch after a perfect dodge, players might have to completely change their strategy to even stand a chance against you. I mean, just look at this guy, for example. This right here, this is just top tier Switch Hit gameplay. With this dexterous guide, now complete by me, Dave Pyramid, I'm sure you'll be the next Asura to slam your enemies into the floor. I'll catch you on the flip side, and I hope you learned something. Peace out.
Let me break it down for you, Mark.